Hello everyone, I'm back here after such a long time. I always believe that YouTube is a safe space, and that's why I've chosen to share what I want to share here. And maybe it will not just be today, I'll be coming here anytime I feel like I am drained in emotions that I'm not comfortable sharing with anyone physically. I also believe that sharing my stories here maybe will give me a reference. Maybe when I get better and I want to look back and see how things were, though these won't be good memories, but it's worth keeping them anyway because that is life. Where do I start? And you'll forgive me in case of emotions. Maybe I'll be pausing a little bit. They do not overwhelm me that much. So, around when COVID came, when did COVID strike? Around 2020, my brother sat for his KCSE. He did exemplary well. He scored a B plane at Nyangori Boys High School. Lest I forget, that is the highest score of my mother's kids. We all range within the B, like there is that B plane that you brag of as the highest, then B minuses, 2 of them, then C plus, then C planes. Don't be scared. My mother has 7 kids. Now we have remained 6, but we were born 7. So my brother did his KCSE, he scored a B plane. I was over the moon. I was so excited. You'd think that was my school. So fast forward, he applied. Actually, I'm the one who applied from several universities, and he was specific. He wanted to come study in Nairobi. So I tried explaining to him why he couldn't. Some of the reasons, I'll talk about them later. I tried explaining to him why he couldn't, maybe why it was important that he studies near home, but he couldn't get any of it. You know, when kids get excited, like all your life, you've never been to Nairobi, you've never been to the capital city of a country. And then now there you are, you've been told when you finish exams, when you finish schooling, maybe you're Form 4, that's when you'll be able or you'll be free to travel to wherever you want. And my brother loved life in a good way. My brother loved life, like he was a darer, he was a risk taker. So good enough, or lucky for him, he insisted that he wanted University of Nairobi, and that's what I applied, and that's where he got the chance. So he was admitted. He joined, which month was this? Around September or October. So he joins. There's so much details that maybe I'll be skipping, but just know he joins. It's my father who brought him. So my father brought him, made sure he's admitted, made sure he was comfortable. He had someone he would stay with for that semester and all that. At that time, I could not travel for long distances because of reasons that maybe I might say later. Are so much hidden. So at that time, I couldn't even travel for the shortest distance. Like doctors had prescribed a bed rest. So couldn't even wash utensils. I couldn't do anything per se. Thank God we were working from home due to COVID that I had already mentioned earlier. So, but when my brother came, my brother was flexible. I'm almost saying was flexible. Like when you tell him I can't come, then he says, let me come. I said, why not? So after my dad had left back to Western, my brother traveled to my place. I directed him. He came. So at that time, I was still staying in a bed sitter. If you do not know what a bed sitter, one day I'll explain clearly what it means. But in Nairobi, that's where most people start life. the normal people who've come from the average home backgrounds. So you realize it wasn't as comfortable, you with someone else, than now with your brother in a bed sitter. So that explains why most of the times he couldn't be with me. But at least I wanted him to also get used to his own space and be independent. So he'd come during weekends and go back. He would come during weekends, and weekdays he goes back to his place. He was schooling at Kikuyu campus. It's quite far from where we stay. At that time I still stay in Eastlands. So you get to CBD Nairobi, then I get to Kangemi, then to Kikuyu. It's far. It's really far. So fast forward, there was Christmas, because I told you he had been enrolled at around September or October. Yeah. So we had Christmas, and I personally wasn't excited about going home because I didn't want to go home at that time. But there are things I wanted him to go do at home that I will explain as we go by. So I made sure everything was okay for him to travel home, and he said, no, I want to pass by my brother, visit him, then we can go home together. So they traveled home. When was that? Around 23rd or 22nd of December. So he traveled home, and he traveled to my brother's place. Actually, my brother says, now my other elder brother that my younger brother was going to visit says he got there so late, and it was in Rongo, and he says the place isn't so modern. So you can imagine no electricity at night, no lights, and he just traveled. And then my elder brother went, picked him, and that's when they traveled home. Are we together? So he stayed home for around 4 days, and then I insisted I want to come back. I even started complaining, where is the money? I just released you recently, you wanted to travel home. Why don't you even, in our mother tongue we say, why don't you even open the year from home? When you're opening the year, the year is in an envelope, so why don't you open the year from home? But he just insisted he wanted to come plan. He had exams and all that. So finally he won. I told you he was a high-spirited person. He was a strong-willed person. Like, there's a way he would just convince you. So my brother traveled back. When he got to my place, he told me I was sick in the vehicle, in the bus. And I just felt a little bit shocked and said, how come? But thank God you're here. That was on 28th, around 28th, 29th of December. 29th, 28th, I'm not so sure about it. So he stayed home. He stayed at my place for around 2 days. I used to make it a routine that he doesn't overstay at my place like for more than 3 days, because I was not staying alone, and I actually didn't know how the other person was feeling. You know, there are people, maybe they would feel bad but still do not tell you. But anyway, just to make it clear, this other person had clarified it to me that he totally had no problem with my brother staying at my place. But just me. I even shared it with my own brother, and I told him, I do not like you staying here for a long time, because I don't know why. Let me name this person X. I don't know why X will feel. And my brother will tell me, imagine it's your own issues, because X totally has no problem. He's the one who welcomes me here most of the times. I think that is clarified. So they were just my own insecurities, which are normal. So my brother traveled to where he schools in Kikuyu, at Kikuyu, and the other person that they were staying with, his roommate, had already moved to a different house because of his own reasons. And to also clarify it, his roommate had already informed me earlier that from next year, I'll be moving and I intend to stay alone because of privacy issues and all that. That is understandable because while I was in campus, I also preferred living alone. Are we together?